Hello friends, this is Arun. In today's video, we are going to see some interesting ideas in the chess opening called Danish Gambit. I have divided this video into three parts. So in the first part, we are going to see what happens when black accepts the gambit. In the second part, we will see what happens when the black declines the gambit. And in the third part, we are going to see a model game between Frank Marshall versus Jacques Macy's. Okay, let's get started. The Danish Gambit arises after the moves pawn to e4. Black plays pawn to e5. Now white plays the move d4. After pawn captures pawn, now white plays c3, offering a pawn. So this is called Danish Gambit. So Danish Gambit is an interesting opening where white sacrifices two pawns for a huge lead in development. If black captures both pawns with d into c, and after bishop c4, c into b2, bishop captures pawn. So at the end of this two pawn sacrifice, white has got a huge lead in development with a potential kingside attack. Now black should play the move d5, returning a pawn in order to neutralize white's attack. Instead, if black gets more greedy and plays this move queen g5, then you have a deadly attack. So instead of d5, if black tries the move queen to g5, then we have knight to f3, offering the third pawn on g2. And if black captures the pawn, white should continue with the rook g1 attacking the queen, and after queen h3 we have this bishop captures pawn check, king captures, then knight to g5 forking the king and the queen with a winning position for white. Let's go back. So after this bishop captures pawn, black can also try king d8. So in that case, white has a interesting move, that is rook captures pawn on g7. It is better than bishop captures pawn. And after bishop captures, we have bishop captures the bishop on g7, trapping the rook on h8 with the winning position. So let's go back to the position where black plays d5. So instead of moving the queen to g5, so black plays this move d5, giving up a pawn and neutralizing the white's initiative here. And the correct move in this position is to play bishop captures on d5, and black can respond with knight to f6, offering the second pawn. White should continue with the bishop captures f7, and in this position black king can capture the bishop on f7. The point is, after queen captures queen, we have this bishop into b4, which is discovered attack on the queen. After queen to d2, we have bishop captures, knight captures, rook to d8 with a completely equal position and chances for both sides. Now we'll go to the next session and see what happens if black declines the gambit. After pawn to e4, e5, d4, all standard stuff, pawn captures pawn, c3. Now black is not going to capture the pawn. Instead of that, is going to play this move d5, declining the gambit. Declining the gambit is one of the most sensible ways to play for black. And white will continue with pawn captures and queen captures, pawn captures on d4. So after this pawn captures on d4, the game will revolve around the typical strategies of isolated d pawn. Now we will move on to the third part. We are in the third part of the video where I am going to present you a game between Frank Marshall versus Jacques Macy's. Marshall opened up with e4, Macy's played e5. Then white played d4, pawn captures pawn, c3, pawn captures pawn. We have bishop to c4, pawn captures pawn on b2, then bishop captures on b2. So we have a Danish Gambit accepted. Since we know the theory, we know that d5 is the correct way to play here, offering a pawn and trying to reduce the white initiative. But in our game, we have d6. Now Marshall played knight to e2, black played knight to c6. White castled. Now black played bishop to e6. Now instead of extending the bishop, Marshall continued with bishop d5. Black played knight to f6. Now white played queen to b3, attacking the pawn on b7. Black played queen to c8, defending the pawn. Now Marshall played knight to f4, putting some pressure on the bishop on e6 and trying to capture it. Black defends with knight to d8. Now Marshall played bishop captures knight on f6, ruining the black's kingside pawn structure. Pawn captures pawn. White goes knight to h5, attacking the pawn on f6. Black plays c6, attacking the bishop. Now instead of moving the bishop, Marshall played rook e1. Now black played bishop e7. Let's go back. If black captures the bishop on d5, then white will simply recapture with pawn captures pawn. Now you can see black cannot move the bishop to d7 or anywhere else because of the pin by the rook on e1. So let's go back to our game. So instead of capturing the bishop, black played bishop e7. Now white played queen f3, bringing one more attacker to this f6 pawn. Black played rook g8. Again, black cannot capture the bishop on d5 because after pawn captures pawn, bishop d7, queen into f6 offers white a winning position. So instead of capturing the bishop, black goes rook g8. Now white continues with it. Knight captures pawn on f6 check. After bishop captures, we have queen captures bishop. Now black captures the bishop on d5. Pawn captures pawn. Now the bishop cannot move, as we know the rook is pinning the bishop on e6. So black played rook g6 attacking the queen. Now white played queen h8 check. After this queen h8 check, black goes king d7. Now white calmly develops his knight to c3. If black captures the pawn on d5, which is what played in the game, now Marshall continued with the queen e8 check, and after king c7, white regained this piece with knight captures bishop, king to b8. We have rook a to c1 attacking the queen. Now black played knight to c6, rook captures knight. The point is after pawn captures, we have rook to b1 checkmate. That's it everyone. I hope you all enjoyed this game. If you like this video, please hit the like button, share this video with your friends and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Bye for now.